And they just stroll on in. While I'm obliviously on my cell phone. But they still let me in eventually, so I get to hang out some more with Ryan. And we find out that we're both kind of stupid, so that's good. We can even do the same face twice. Meanwhile, I decide that I'm feeling dirty, so I make myself a bath. As one is wont to do at someone you don't know very well's house, take a nice, long, luxurious bath. Really take the time to wash in your skin and explore yourself. Fortunately, this goes much better than last time, and we get to hang out and talk about cars, even if I am a little sleepy. We just enjoy talking so much. Oh, until we get into some sort of weird argument. Maybe it's because I'm crabby because I'm sleepy. And then I think, once again, Brad Shoemaker kicked me out of the house. I'm pretty mad. What can I do now that I'm out of the house? Oh yeah, maybe because I was lounging in their house in my underwear. Decide to show them once again who's boss. Meanwhile, Robbie chats on the computer. And Navarro has become an ace reporter. As you can see, he's very happy with his job and his interesting new outfit. So he decides to come play some video games. Or maybe hang out with Tom? Aw, they're talking. That means I get to play video games. And Ryan Davis decides to come pay us a visit, so hey! Yeah! Since Navarro's been practicing all his charisma skills, he gets to use some cooler introductions than what we know. And then they still sit and stare at each other awkwardly for a while. For some reason, Robbie decides to get out of the house, but he can't really figure out what to do there. So he picks up a book and decides that he's not only a rock, but he's also an island. All alone, reading his book. And I decide that I want to be a police officer. Because what better career is there for me? Yes, that's the life, arresting people, having a position of power. And I decide to visit my new friends. Since I realized it was a little creepy to hang out constantly with the giant bomb guys, especially since I wanted to make it a bit more interesting of a podcast, I decided to make a house full of eligible bachelors. Actually, no, that's not true, because this one, another Tom, has his partner Jeff, so really, not all of them are actually eligible, but some of them are. This guy over here, for instance, Prince Albert. Yeah, I couldn't resist putting a wrestler or two in the game. And there's Jeff, Tom's partner. And we seem to be getting along just smashingly. And I even start hitting on... you see an appearance by one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, who also lives at this house, coincidentally, Bam Bam Bigelow. I was kind of happy to find out that they do have that flame suit pattern in the stock pattern, so hey, you can make a pretty decent Bam Bam Bigelow suit. Although it does look like big pajamas, but what you gonna do? On my way out, figure no one's looking, and, I think you know the drill by now. Meanwhile, Robbie plays some video games at home. The next day, I decide to do some calisthenics and hang out with Jeff Gersman again, who I once again reintroduce myself to, even though I've met him before. Guess maybe he likes handshakes? Looks like Vinny and Brad are having a good conversation, so I decide to stand in the corner and ignore them. So I need some more opportunities to hang out with the wrestlers, so I decide to get Tom over there to see if he has better luck than I do with them. He rings the doorbell, stands to the side, and eventually gets to meet Prince Albert. And he seems to be getting along really well with him. Till Bam Bam Bigelow comes outside and starts getting into a fight with his roommate, Jeff. Why Why are they talking about baby bottles and getting so mad? Doesn't make any sense. And for whatever reason, Bam Bam Bigelow seems to be blaming Jeff for all this. He's thinking about a baby. At this point, I think while I was recording this, I was recording this shot to get the conversation of Tom talking with Prince Albert. And I honestly did not notice what was going on in the background here. It might give you a clue as to what the game decided to do when I made this household. This is not a choice I made. No, this is, since I made them an autonomous household, the game gets to choose what's going on. And horrifically, most horrifically, it decided to give them a baby. Meanwhile, Bam Bam just doesn't seem to be in a good mood or like to chat with anyone. He's very aggressive and seems to pick fights. And, yeah, no one really wants to get into a fight with a 6'4" wrestler. Although, one problem with this game, actually, is there's no height. Because, yeah, Navarro and this guy and Tom over there, they're all, like, 6 foot something, 6'4", 6'5". While some people like Jeff and me are 5'7". And here's just a nice family scene. Ryan Davis decides to hang out with us while we're all playing video games. And it kind of looks like a Wii commercial. Yeah, go! And you'll notice once again I am not wearing any pants. I never wear pants. I don't know why. Although the other Tom back there isn't wearing pants either, so at least I'm not left out. Speaking of pantsless Tom, he's hitting on Jeff or something, and they just aren't getting along too well. I decide to go talk to Jeff and, greet him. I think we've met before. In fact, I'm sure of it, but maybe that's just a social introduction for someone you don't know that well. Then we just kind of stare at each other, and he thinks about Navarro. Meanwhile, Robbie watches some TV. And me and Jack get into a heated discussion about beds. Which I'm totally cool with since I'm not wearing any pants. And he's a paramedic now. And I start gossiping out Robbie. Don't you hate that, Robbie? Oh, he's like, no, I like Robbie. You better shut the hell up. Speaking of Robbie, he tried cooking. The next day, you'll notice I expanded the house a bit, added a games room, and me and Navarro try some games of chess, which is apparently so exciting that Robbie wants to come and watch. Yes! Yes! Meanwhile, Navarro seems to be making a move at getting a checkmate into Tom's pants, and decides to do his own kind of talk about disco balls and runners. Apparently, once the game decides you're gay, you turn really gay. And they love it! Aww. They just seem to love talking to each other. Ooh, what's going on here? Oh, they're holding hands! He's hungry! Yes, this is the face of true love, people. A love that will never end, and nothing horrible will ever happen to these two. Meanwhile, Robbie plays his guitar. Out in the park. While some bears watch. So that's kind of cool. Hey, there's some women. Tom comes back from work. He's a detective too now, so they got something in common. Meanwhile, me and Tom just aren't getting along so well. For whatever reason, we just have this nasty fight and we aren't talking to each other. Jack hears this, and he knows he's got to do something. First, he talks to Tom, tries to reason with him. Can he work it out? Is he some kind of guru at discussing people's relationships? You can see I'm now thinking about Jack. And Jack talks to me. He's listening to my problem. For some reason, I'm complaining about Mr. Sunshine. Hey there, Mr. Blue. We're so pleased to be with you. And he finds that funny. And suddenly, we're all getting along. Thanks, Jack. Robbie goes to visit the wrestlers. I figure that he might be a good match for Prince Albert. He ends up talking to the guy with the partner, of course, and they hit it off, talking about music, books. While Bam Bam just kind of stands huffishly in a corner. He doesn't seem too thrilled with having people over. But they still make room for him and let him into the conversation. And he says, "Man, I don't like Robbie." And Robbie's like, "Well, what's going on?" Meanwhile, Prince Albert comes in, sees Robbie, and realizes what an awkward social situation. What the hell? Yeah, I hadn't seen this before either. Their baby grew up a bit.